What's up, guys? I'm working on a little project right now. I got a big skull fist back patch I'm going to sew onto my leather jacket, so I'm probably going to get some other patches for this jacket, but really, like, all my patches, I think I'm going to put on a jean vest, like a Levi's trucker vest or something. But yeah, I haven't been on camera in forever. Hey, same old me. But we're not here for all that. We're actually here for we're not here for the mentors either. We're down in the basement, and we're here to talk about my Dreamcast collection. Now, I don't really have a ton of games for the Dreamcast, which makes it pretty easy to talk about. But I have some good games. They're pretty much all shooters. There's other games I play through burnt discs, but I'm pretty sure everything I have here is legit. Yeah, everything's legit here. I'm pretty sure. If I come across anything not legit, I'll let you know. But let's just start off this with Battle Crust, a shooter that it was like an R-type clone. This to me, now, let me know if I'm wrong here. It's been a while since I played this, but this plays like R-type, but vertically scrolling, yeah? Yeah, there you go. Those are the vibes I got from it when I played it. It must have been a couple years ago when I got this, but Josh Prod, this is a developer known for taking, more of a publisher, known for taking or buying the rights to or finding Dojin games, or however they're doing it, getting Dojin games, Dojin shooters onto the Dreamcast, which is pretty cool. I support that. But anyway, Battle Crust. This is a game, I think I know for sure I originally played this on the PC, but then I saw it ported to Dreamcast. It was actually at the game store, one of the game stores I shop at, so picked it up. So Battle Crust. Next one is pretty much the same thing. We have Sturmwind. This got a Switch physical. Again, a Dojin game. I initially played this on the PC. Let's see, $40. I think that's what I paid for this at the store. I got this from a game store locally a while back, a couple years ago. But yeah, there's a Switch physical out there for this. This is a pretty cool looking game. This plays more, or looks more to me like a 3D Euro shmup, if that makes any sense. You know, you shmup guys probably know what I'm talking about, but pretty cool game. Looks really good and impressive on the Dreamcast for sure. Sturmwind. Next one, a lot of these guys I got at my local flea market, and some of these they might shock you that I actually found these at the flea market. And there's one of them, Twinkle Sprites, one that the flea market guy sent me a picture of this, and I was like, yeah, I want that. So this got ported around. I think I have this on the PS4 in a collection. Sure, you can get it on the Switch. It's got a Saturn port. So if you haven't played this is a pretty good game. The concept is it's pretty much a 2D fighter using shoot 'em up mechanics. So you have two different, pretty much it's a 2D fighter, so you can see each player on the screen, and every time you take damage through throwing stuff on each side of the opponent's screen. There's another game that just came out not too terribly long ago called Rival Mega Gun. It's very similar to that. It's right here. Here's a port of it, a First Press Games port. That's not a good example of what the game would look like, but that's just the physical of it. But anyway, a game that I do recommend, and I recommend Rival Mega Gun. I kind of think Rival Mega Gun is a little bit better than Twinkle Star Sprites, but hey, that's just me. Okay, next one is a game. Here we go. Sivaria, I believe that's how that's pronounced. Sivaria Delta. There's been, I think I have a port of this game with added features on the PS2. Here's one of them. There's a couple of them I have on the PS2. Here's one. Ultimate Final. Yeah, I think this is pretty much the same game with added features. Again, let me know if I'm wrong in the comments down below. I do really, okay, so as far as the roll mechanic in the Sivaria games, I do enjoy the roll mechanic in this Dreamcast version the most. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's the most satisfying. Like, again, the roll mechanic is a mechanic you use to deflect bullets and things like this in the shooter. But So this is Sivaria 2. And again, yeah, see, so this says 2 Ultimate Final. Let me know in the comments if you're like a big fan of the series, if the added features that the PS2 actually adds. And yeah, there's a few of them that got released on the PS2. But anyway, my buddy I met on Instagram actually traded me this for a copy of this that I had at the time. Now, this is a good shooter RPG hybrid game on the Game Boy Advance, one that I actually highly recommend. But I gave him this for actually this specific copy, and I just went ahead and found another copy at the flea market later on, so wasn't a total wash on that. But anyway, we got Sivaria 2, I believe that's 2 on the Dreamcast. Next, let's do, let's see, flea market. Here, I'll show you 2 games that I didn't find at the flea market. First one is a Sega Dreamcast game that has water damage on the manual, and that is Gunbird 2. Awesome shooter, right? Now the thing was, see, look, that's what I paid at the time. It's probably still worth about that. I didn't get any like crazy discounts on this one, except for the 10% off for condition, right? And this was years ago that I got this. This was, I don't know if we can date it. No. That's where I got it at, just press play. But yeah. So anyway, you can't RGB out on this from what I've heard, because I just use regular composite out when I play my Dreamcast. I don't have an HDMI converter or anything like that. As a matter of fact, if I've ever live streamed Dreamcast, it's with Elgato HD, just with the regular composite in. But a shooter especially that you don't see that often. I've probably only seen this a handful of times unless I'm at a convention or something. But anyway, Gunbird 2. Next one is a game that I picked up at Just Press Play, another Josh Prod shooter, and I did see this for PC, although I never played it on PC, and I haven't really played it much on the Dreamcast. I think I only popped this in once, and that is Supercharged Robot Vulciser. I haven't played it much, but I'm getting vibes of like a 70s anime robot Jeppy X, and I'm talking about that PS1 shooter. Really expensive shooter, Jeppy X. Don't know that it's worth its asking price these days, but this is probably one that I should check out. I remember when I popped it in, the weapon power-ups got kind of crazy on this, but yeah, just one that, you know, whatever these think, $40 or whatever that they go for when they come out new at the store. But I'm kind of grateful that there's actually a store that carries weird, obscure stuff like this. So when I do see it and it's a shooter for any system, if it looks halfway decent, I'm going to pick it up. So anyway, there's a Supercharged Robot Vulciser. Okay, the next 3 I'm going to show you are all ones that I found at the flea market. Next one, I remember when I picked this up, it was $50, and that's Gigawing. Got this years ago. No, never mind, it was $10. I'm sorry. I remember there was one of these that I got real cheap, but yeah, you're seeing that right. That's how long ago. I think that back then that was actually a pretty decent price as well, but one of my boys at the flea market, it might even have been cheaper than that if that's what they had on it, right? But you know, awesome shooter. I wish I had its sequel. I do have I think it's a burnt copy. It's definitely a burnt copy if I have it at all, but I certainly don't have the sequel complete in box. I may have it disc only, but I'm pretty sure if I do, it's the Japanese version. But anyway, Gigawing, I'm sure you guys know this shooter. It's really good. I can go on and on and on about it. Oh, and another thing, I love the Japanese. Not the Japanese. What am I saying? I love the soundtrack better in the Dreamcast version than I do the arcade version, which I guess the arcade version of Gigawing would be considered the definitive version, I guess, amongst other people. I wouldn't really know. But to me, the definitive version is this Dreamcast version, because the bullet deflect mechanic works more smoothly in the Dreamcast version of Gigawing. Also, the soundtrack is more slamming in the Dreamcast version of Gigawing. So there's multiple reasons why I like the Dreamcast version of Gigawing over the arcade version. But you can get the arcade version of Gigawing, and there's a Capcom Switch collection. I'm sure you can just get the straight ROM of it, but they didn't port the Dreamcast version, which I was really upset about. So I guess the only way to play that is on the Dreamcast unless you emulate it. But anyway, Gigawing, the first Gigawing. Next one. This is probably one of my best flea market finds ever right here. One of my best flea market finds ever. And that is Border Down. Yes, sir. Border Down. And this is actually the collector's edition of Border Down. And that's what this is. There's like a little card in there, and I believe a soundtrack. But there is another standard release in Japan version of this with a different cover artwork. But if you're gonna own Border Down, I guess this is the one that you would want. So yeah, very happy to own this. Very happy to own this. This is a top tier shooter on the Dreamcast, that's for sure. Next up is here we go. I believe this is a Shikigami no Shiro 2 or Castle of Shikigami 2 on the Sega Dreamcast. Yeah, a good shooter. I remember when I initially found this game. This got a US release for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, I have it somewhere, but when I found that, I actually found that at the flea market as well, and that was new. Oh yeah, I found this at the flea market. Oh, and it has the like a cardboard sleeve that the game sits in. It's on there. It's all there. I think the OBI's in there as well. I do believe. But okay, so the US version of this game has the best. Has the best. Most terrible best voice acting that you will ever hear, and it's these like Japanese voice actors voicing English lines, and it's like clear as day that they really don't know English that well, or if they do know English that well, they're trying really hard to butcher it. It's great. It's so hilarious. Like if you got a Steam Deck, download the US version of Castle of Shikigami 2 and play that shit. It is so funny. It will have you laughing. I'm telling you, it's such a blast. Like the sick game collector part of me, it's like, man, because when I found that game, I got it sealed. It's like, why did I open that? But again, I got to experience that great, terrible voice acting. And after that, the game got featured on many Hidden Gems videos and subsequently shot up in price. But anyway, this is the Japanese version of Castle of Shikigami 2 on the Sega Dreamcast. Really happy to own this, and found it at the flea market. Can you believe that? Before I show the next couple of games, I'm gonna you know what inspired this video? There was because I like shooters on the Dreamcast, and I typed in Dreamcast one day on YouTube, and I saw that there was a girl that posted, and I usually don't follow, like, just out of respect, 'cause it's like weird guys following like chick YouTubers, at least to me. And I'm a family man, and I got like a woman and kid and stuff, so I really don't. There's a few girls I'm friends with on YouTube, but anyway, this chick posted a Dreamcast collection video. And the chick looks just like my woman, except for maybe when she was a little bit younger, right? Don't tell her I said that. But that kind of shocked me. But yeah, anyway, I just pictured if my woman was ever on YouTube and posted a Dreamcast collection video when she was younger, that's what I was watching. So that inspired this video. But anyway, this next item is this is probably one of my top tier collection. Anyway, I found this at the flea market. And I actually have a box that goes with this. I don't know where the hell the box went. I looked for it for a second. I didn't look too hard, but I couldn't find it. And that is this ASCII pad, ASCII. You know what I'm talking about, ASCII. They make peripheral console peripherals. You know what I'm talking about. A Dreamcast Saturn Pad. It's got built-in rumble. This is actually an SNK version, so this was made. This came at the same time as some SNK fighter. It might have been Capcom versus SNK 2, I do believe. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. But the color to this controller actually, I'm pretty sure, corresponds with the game, and it was yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an SNK. It was an SNK thing. Here you can actually see, here we go, ASCII pad, ASC 1301P, I don't know, but yeah, it was definitely an SNK deal. That's what it says on the box anyway, and I think it even says something like Capcom versus SNK on the box. Wish I had it next to me to show you, but I looked this up on eBay and was shocked at the price, but I was most excited to actually have a Saturn Pad to play shooters with on the Dreamcast, because let's be honest, the Dreamcast controller is not good. The D-pad on that thing is not good to play shooters. At least it's not for me. As a kid, I owned a copy of Power Stone. I remember having fun with Power Stone as a kid, but as an adult trying to play Power Stone, I couldn't do it, y'all. I had more fun playing Power Stone on the PSP than I had playing it on the Dreamcast with that controller. Now, the problems that I have with that Dreamcast controller, although this isn't the greatest controller in the world, man, this thing's way light years better than the standard OEM Dreamcast controller. So, I recommend, if you can, get you an ASCII pad. Now, I know these are kind of expensive if you look for them on eBay, and I know you're probably not going to find one of these at your flea market. I get that. But if you have the means, or you do see one of these, I do highly recommend one of these things. And really, if you're having issues where the controller is that big of a deal, because the library is worth it to play the Dreamcast, let me tell you. Get a Brooks adapter. There's different adapters you can use for your Dreamcast to play with different controllers, like, you know, Switch Pro controllers and things like this. But again, I highly recommend this controller. You got your VMU port right here. And I actually do have a blue VMU, and it looks kind of dope, but don't have it to show you right this second. But believe you me, I do have it, and yeah, highly recommend that controller. Next up, we're gonna go over some. Okay, so as an adult, the thing that made me get back into the Dreamcast, I've always been into shoot 'em ups as an adult. And a company emerged out of Germany, and this company made some pretty. And this was when the new age of retro was just kind of emerging, like the angry video game nerd, and people are just getting into retro. And a lot of companies weren't doing a lot of the 2D sprite work stuff, but this company was, and that was NG Dev Team. And right here we have not the original, but this was among the first wave of the Gunlord games. Now, this also released on the Neo Geo AES and MVS. And at the time, I actually did have a Neo Geo AES that I had acquired. I don't have it anymore. I had sold it. But the NG Dev Team games were definitely what made me go ahead and pull the trigger with that Neo Geo that I had at the time. I highly recommend this game. So what this is a Turrican clone that has a couple of shoot 'em up levels, and the shoot 'em up levels, the way they progress, this is going to sound weird, but they progress in the same way that your ship would. This is going to sound really bizarre, but the way that the levels play out, the shoot 'em up levels anyway, they progress in the same way that you can change your ship in Macross Scrambled Valkyrie, if any of you have played that game, which is the best Macross game that was ever made. Definitely the best Macross shoot 'em up. But if you play this, you'll know what I'm talking about in the way that your ship is in different forms in the shoot 'em up stages in this game. Now, with that being said, I wish there was a lot more shoot 'em up stages in this game. If you're going to go ahead and make it a Turrican clone with shoot 'em up stages, throw more than 2 in here. If you guys want to release some DLC for the Switch port Gunlord X, I would not be opposed to that, even though I do own a physical copy, because I like this game so much. Now, I will say the Dreamcast version is a little bit retooled in the fact that not only the visuals and the screen giving you the 6:9 aspect ratio, but it's also retooled as far as difficulty. So, and I had a little bit of trouble with the Dreamcast version of this game as well. But if you do like Gunlord, or you see a video of it, you dig the gameplay, there is a physical Switch version out there. It's got like $100, but it's worth it. But anyway, this is the Dreamcast port of Gunlord. Next up, I will say this, I didn't find any of these. Yeah, I didn't find any of these at the flea market. This I got from the York location of Just Press Play. This one I actually got on eBay, online somewhere. Maybe eBay, I don't know. But we have Fast Striker now. This game got ported around as well. Now, I love when the games get ported around. The more platforms these games are on, the better. But I have a PS4 port of this. PS4 got a physical, as well as the Vita. The Vita got a physical port of Fast Striker. I don't have a copy of that. Probably won't go after it. But if the Switch gets a physical port of Fast Striker, that'd be pretty cool. NG Dev Team, yeah, just throwing it out there. I'm sure if you pressed 1,000 copies, you'd sell them. You know it. But of course, that would require you having to port the game, right? But pretty fun game. This isn't a real technical shooter, but it gets kind of difficult. And the game has a pretty slamming soundtrack. And I mean, look at that back cover artwork. I dig that. When I had a little business venture with a buddy of mine, and at the time this game was really hot to me, and I remember I made a t-shirt of this. It turned out pretty good, but I wore that shirt out. It's been gone now for a while, but yeah, Fast Striker on the Dreamcast. Okay, next up we'll do we'll do one that I actually have a burnt copy of. This is a sealed copy. For whatever reason, the weird collector in me didn't want to open it, but I have a couple of burnt version or copies of this, so it's all good. And that is Neo-Zix, or Neo XYX. This is pretty much what this is this game plays like kind of like Batugun or like a Toaplan shooter. But this was made by this was like there's like this developer, Gray Banzer Fox, and I think that it was some of the work of Gray Banzer Fox's work in connection with NG Dev Team that retooled some of the game. Or I know there's a lot going on there with that, and if you know anything about that, feel free to comment down below. But this is definitely it's up there with Gigawing. Let's just say that, as far as how much I like this game. But look at that artwork. There was a t-shirt. There was a special edition of this that came with a t-shirt. I wouldn't mind going after that t-shirt. It looks so cool. And this is the front of the t-shirt. Kind of looks like this. And again, this is a sealed copy, and there was a sticker that they included with the game. I have the sticker right there. And yeah, Neo-Zix, or Neo XYX. Now, that Gray Banzer Fox, they released a game called Super XYX. It's on Steam, but for whatever reason, the game, when you you can buy a copy of it, but when you try to play it, the game will freeze on you, and I don't know why they won't fix that game, or whatever's wrong with it. It's crazy. It's like this crazy like hidden gem shooter on Steam, and you can buy it, but you can't play it. It's the craziest thing. If anybody has a fix for that game, Super XYX, please let everyone know in the comments. Post a video or something and let us know how to play that game. I've been dying to play it. I have the ROM. I have it on my Steam Deck, but I can't play it. Can't play it on my Steam Deck or my PC, so I don't know. But yeah, Super XYX. Awesome shooter. One of my favorite on the system. And last but not least, we have Redux Dark Matters. And so what this is a retooling of Dux, which is a shoot 'em up. I don't have the copy of the original Dux, but I forget how they retooled this. I guess they made it more difficult, or they changed the difficulty, and I'm sure they did a bunch of different things. But Dux was just a horizontal scroller, kind of similar to R-Type, but it had some pretty. It was like a fast striker in a way, but horizontally scrolling and more like R-Type. But I dig it. I think I got this at like Too Many Games, or it might have been MagFest. Video Games New York always sets up at both of those conventions, and at the time they were selling copies of this, and for whatever they were going for. But a big supporter of the independent Dreamcast shmup scene. So anyway, yeah, there we go. We got all the Dreamcast games. I guess that was like 16 or so. But yeah, I can't believe that I got a lot of these at the flea market. Kind of crazy. But yeah, I would love to know. Let me know in the comments, what you guys have for the Dreamcast, or what shooter. I want a copy of there's a damn Capcom game. God, it's like a 3D it's like a 3D like twin stick shooter. Anyway, I forget, but one day I'll find it. Let me know in the comments what other shooters that I need on the Dreamcast. I feel like I got a pretty good bit right here, but I definitely don't have everything, and I love finding shooters that I haven't played yet that I can just kind of like sink my teeth into. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Till next time, peace.
You wanna see me sick and try to show you how to grip it now. Stick around through my forehead so you can slip inside. Get inside the brain cells.